So we welcome you all to today's event. And we have with us today Dr. Aisha Abir, speaker of the session, and Dr. Aslam Mohammed, sir, State President, Games Karnataka, Prithvi Alva ma'am, State General Secretary, Games Karnataka, and I am Kirtana, Assistant State Director, JESOC, will be hosting the program. So, having successfully navigated rigorous paths of USMLE, PLAB, and NEET exams herself, Dr. Aisha Abir ma'am has developed a deep understanding of intricacies and challenges involved in medical licensure and entrance examination. So I now request Dr. Aisha Abir ma'am to take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aslam, for both of you for this wonderful initiative and giving me this opportunity to share all my experiences and views and the mistakes I did and the things that one should be following and everything else about regarding this pathway and the confusion that one goes through after your MBBS is over. So all this is a very I'm really honored for that you guys gave me this opportunity. So let's start. So this session will be, more like a. I want to keep this as as a very impromptu session, and I want you guys to put in your questions and answers. As I will be answering those questions, I'll be taking those questions towards the end. But as you get those doubts and whatever it is, just keep putting down that all of those in the chat box. Okay. Also, go ahead and start with this session. So basically, I will give you a brief introduction about myself. I am not someone who is the topper. Okay, I would say that I was a very hardworking student, and I did. Yeah, you can keep the first slide, and then we can start. I did work my way up in med school because I remember that I barely passed in anatomy and barely passed in biochemistry. But then I realized that how hard I have to work. And yes, I almost, in my final year, I was one of the toppers in my batch. And I almost missed my gold medal in medicine by 2 marks. Am I audible? I'm audible, right, Aslam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So what in med school? Yeah, where was I? I was telling you about my journey, right? And then to in my third year or so, I always wanted to give USMLE, and my idea was only to leave this country as soon as possible, because that was the only thing in my mind. I used to think that the only success that one can get is by leaving India, and that was the only thing that I had in my mind in third year of med school, because I was born and brought up in Saudi. So I thought, like, leaving this country is the best option one can have. And I never knew about the opportunities. I never knew about many things that are available in India, and the amount of success one gets even by any of the pathway you can go on by being in med school. Okay. So that's how I started preparing. I studied rigorously through all the med school, and it was only towards the end, while in internship, that I had this confusion as to what I am supposed to do, because I did not want to give up the option of giving NEET and getting one of the few of the best branches that you can get here, like dermatology, radiology, any of the surgical branches one is interested in. And I also did not want to give up on my NEET USMLE dream. So first of all, if any one of you are from colleges, private colleges, or from minority colleges, you will always have that in your brain that, what, I have not done well in NEET UG, mere se to kya hi hoga. I don't think I will be able to do USMLE. I don't think I'll be able to crack NEET and get into radiology, dermatology, all of these cream branches. But let me tell you, nothing in your med school defines you. No matter which college are you from, no matter how many opportunities you have got in your college, you will always be able to get the best, and you will be able to achieve whatever you want if you provided you put in the hard work. So first thing, I did not we in our college did not have anything, any exposure related to research or volunteering. My seniors used to be like, whenever we thought about all of these organizations, like James is one of the organization we have here. Recently came up when I think I was in internship, and it was a very nice initiative. My friend did serve as the state head of Karnataka meanwhile, and there's this organization called MSCI AMSA, right? So all of these organizations, we were very new to it. No one in our college had heard about it. And when we used to do things like this, my seniors used to be like, you know what, pass ho gaye na, wahi badi baat hai. You don't have to do all of this. And that kind of pulled me back a lot in med school. And I really know that many of you will be going through the same. You will not have friends on the same journey. Many have just gotten in med school. They just want to graduate and become doctors. So these are all the things that each one of you will be facing. You're not alone in this journey. Okay. So no matter what your med school is, if we in our college with zero research and volunteering exposure could do wonders. We activated all the volunteering organizations in our college, served at state and national heads, went on student exchange programs, created a research wing in our college, did a lot of research projects, including the ICMR project, and we also did a lot of volunteering work. Okay, so all of this was by 2 to 3 like-minded people who wanted to do it. And I would suggest all of you in med school to find that one or two people that have the same idea, at least not that usko NEET hi karna hai, usko USMLE hi karna hai, but someone who wants to excel in your own journey. Because I would say that people who are here, even with the mindset that what, I'm going to stick to NEET, you should go ahead and do all the research and volunteering work in your med school, because it changes you as a person. Don't think that it's only for USMLE. Me, when I'm in post graduation now, my third year seniors come up to me for their thesis work, because I do all the drafting. I put all the references and give it to them like in a day. So that's how much research experience in your med school will help you. You will already be having you will be already 2 steps ahead when you get into your PG. Just like now, we have already started working on a lot of publications in my post graduation. Okay, being in first year of PG, which is very, very difficult, and people don't usually do it. It's impossible unless and until you have prior experience, and that experience you will get only while you're in MBBS. So don't lose this opportunity, and start with research and volunteering work. And get in touch with seniors, whoever, even if there's one person who's interested, they would have done something here or the other. Okay, and the best way to get an opportunity is connecting through all of these organizations, wonderful organizations that we have. And second thing is through Instagram and DMs. Now is the era of networking, so go ahead and do it. Okay, so once all of this in your med school, you will have a lot of ups and downs. You will have the tension of passing your final profs. You will have a lot of you need to pass your exams, but you also need to give your steps, and all of that will be happening. And the moment you reach your internship, can we go ahead and to the next slide? Yes. So the moment we reach internship, that is when, and maybe the internship is over and you were all having a very fun time, graduation is coming up, सारे duties खत्म हो गए हैं, you've got all the signs and everything. That is when the real confusion begins. Now all those kids in second year, I'm so sorry I'm calling you kids, because you are juniors in front of us and we know what you all go through. Okay, because when you reach internship, right, that is when the reality hits. That is like, okay, oh my god, everything is coming to an end. Med school was like a safe zone for you all. Now is the time you will face reality. That is when the reality check will happen, because all your friends will be moving ahead and going to Bhatia dams for NEET PG coaching, and you will be stuck whether you should be giving step 1, or if you have given step 1, whether you should be giving step 2, or should you maybe choose something you are interested in, like obs and gynae or surgery on all of these. Okay, so that's when the confusion happens. And you will also have this confusion, like will I even match because of the increasing competition, and should I just opt for NEET, or should I give both the exams? So that is when the next slide. when all of you are going through this confusion, right? Like, I'm sure people can relate, right? Yes or no in the chat box. No one is replying. Okay. No replies. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So at least, okay, we have one answer. Okay. Because some of you are relating to it and some of you are still in second year. So you will be having this confusion, which exam should you give? And okay, my session basically is because I have given all the three exams: USMLE, PLAB, and NEET PG. Okay, all three exams in a span of 1 year, and OET as well, in a span of 9-10 months actually. So that is because I was the one who did not want to leave any stone unturned. Okay, and I gave all the exams that I could, and AMC was next on the list, but I did not want to go to Australia at any cost, so I did not opt for it. So yes, here I am to tell you why should one give multiple exams. Okay, is this even an option? Should one person give multiple exams, or should you just stick to one and go ahead with it? First, if you're a person who wants to do NEET PG and get into a surgical specialty here like obs and gynae, like orthopedics, but you want to keep your pathway open for fellowships, okay? Like for example, all these specialties, surgical specialties, do offer fellowship pathways in US and in the UK. So that is when you should be keeping the option open of writing your USMLEs, getting done with the steps. And because it's really difficult once you get into your PG and once you are graduate, a long-term graduate, it's very difficult to go back and read anatomy, physiology all over again. I'm not saying it's impossible. There are people who have done it, but if you are such a person, go ahead and give your step one in your med school or your after your med school. Second, because of some personal factors, right? Like maybe your situation financially, you are not in the position to pay lakhs together for the USMLE pathway. Maybe you are the only child, okay, in your family, and your parents are sick, they're growing old. You cannot possibly think ki, I can leave them and go to the US and settle there. That is, but you don't want to give up on your dream of USMLE. That is when you should keep an option of both exams to be given. Okay, don't give up on the dreams of USMLE because you never know what pathways will open up later. Just recently, you people know about the law of Tennessee that was passed, right? Which states that if you are ECFMG graduate, you can practice in the US, right? So these kind of laws keep changing. So for that, you need to be ECFMG certified. So the best way is to give the exam, and if you're not able to because of some financial factors, go ahead and take the seat that you're getting in NEET PG. Later on, when the life will, give you opportunities, you can always take up the path and go ahead. Third, you are not so sure about what you want to do in life right now. And fourth, because of financial factors, as I told, maybe for a few of your parents might be retiring and they will not be able to give in so much of amount that you need for the electives and for everything, for the visa, for the cost of staying. It's an expensive process, right? Compared to the government seat that you get in India. So if you're not someone who has the financial factors available at home right now, you should consider giving both the exams, because it's 90,000 to 1 lakh only for step one, and the NEET PG is always the option that you should have. And fifth, if you are a person like me who always needs to keep a backup, yeah, it's the previous slide only. So yeah, when I was going through a lot of anxiety and depression during the exam preparation, I spoke to my counselor, and she told there are two types of people in this world. Okay, type A, people who work very well without having an option B open. Like when you don't have an option B, right, you focus completely on option A. Type, second type of people are the people who need backup and security to work with. You cannot work without a backup plan because you will land up in anxiety and depression. Yes, this is an option for you. Keeping a backup and security as an option is always up to you. If you are a person like me who always wanted to have a backup, I did not want to land up in a situation that I am 3 years from my graduation and I'm still not into residency. And that is why you can give these multiple exams, right? And you can always have these pathways open. Next, what are the factors you need to decide while considering which exams to give and why you should be giving it? First is the field of your choice. Remember guys, no matter how much you say that, I'm going to the US and settling down, I'm going to the UK and settling down, but if you're in a field which you are nowhere interested in, you will never be happy. And I'm not even joking about it. आप कहीं भी जाओ, देखने तो पेशेंट ही है, इतना याद रखो आप लोग. Okay, your life basically is about treating and giving patients the best you can 90% of the time in your life. The other 10 and 20% is all about the work life balance and the other things we talk about. Okay, so you need to choose the field of your choice. If you're someone who's really, really interested in surgical fields, if you're someone who's interested in radiology, dermatology, don't just be like, okay, you know what, I'll just take up internal medicine, US jaake wahan pe, I'll be able to see everything good, shiny, and I'll fall in love with medicine. No, you will not. Do not choose the pathway only because it seems very shiny and very, put together right now. I assure you, once you enter the field of your choice, there are umpteen pathways to go ahead in any part of the world you want through that pathway. You can do the FRCS exam, you can give the MRCS pathway, you can always give USMLEs and get a fellowship there. There are a lot of exams and a lot of European diplomas and everything coming up, that you, when you get into residency, right, you will hear that your super seniors, are somewhere in Australia, somewhere in Japan, doing this, doing that. So there are a lot of opportunities. So choose the field of your choice first. Second, settlement. It's a very it's a very subjective matter. If you're someone, you have your family in the US, you have your family in the UK, that is one of the options that you should keep open and think about when you're deciding which exam you want to give. Third, and the most important one, but very least spoken about, is the financial ability. Please, guys, do not, corner this away from your field of view. You should always think about your financial ability and your family's position right now. You cannot, there are situations like, your parents are sick, they're dealing with debilitating diseases like cancers, or there are parents who are about to retire and they have saved up, given up all the savings for your NEET UG to be completed, all of this. So that is when you should be considering whether you should be giving NEET PG and step 1, and how you will be able to juggle this. Okay, I will be telling you how to juggle and how to take the path ahead, but you should keep your factor of financial security in your mind. Fourth is the prospect of future work. Okay, you need to understand that the prospects of future work are a little different in both the pathways, right? In UK, you will obviously be able to, in US and UK, you will be always be able to, get into these corporate jobs and earn a lot. But setting up a private practice is not an option there. Very, very rare after you become like a consultant, after years of practice and everything. Whereas in India, if you're someone who's looking for, more of independence, more someone who doesn't want to work under corporate sector, who wants to have something of your own, who wants to influence people staying in his or her community, you can choose the option of staying back in India and doing a lot. Okay, and the fifth most important thing is that you need to plan your timeline. You need to know how many years you're ready to invest in. Okay, like for example, there are people, I know a lot of friends, I know a lot of seniors who are like 4 years past their graduation and still haven't given this step 1, because step 1 is a self paced exam, है ना. Self step 1 कैसे है कि आप जब भी मतलब all along the year you can just book a date and give the exam, you will never feel ready for it. So there are people who have still not given the exam and they still haven't joined residency because they are thinking they will give step 1, right? So you cannot keep doing this with your life, because this is not how life works. This is not how the career of medicine works. You will have to keep going, and that's why it's important to know how many years you're ready to invest in. If you're planning on investing in NEET PG, that is when you will be like, okay, I'll be giving 1 or 2 attempts and seeing how this is my first attempt and the best attempt I'll be giving. If it's not working out or something, I'll be turning it, or I will be, molding it somehow. But yeah, as I told you, you cannot be like, you cannot let your parents hopes down. You cannot force yourself also mentally to just give up for 4 more years or 5 more years just to get in US. Meanwhile, you would have finished your residency in India and gained that experience and applied in US as well. There are people who do that, right? Is there anyone here who is from the Humans of USMLE session that we had? Anyone who attended? Okay, I am not getting any input, so I'll assume it's no one is here from the USMLE Humans of USMLE session. So a lot of people there, right? Like a lot of speakers in Humans of USMLE. There was a psychiatry resident who I met recently who finished his psychiatry residency here in NIMHANS in India and applied for psychiatry residency in US. Meanwhile, there are people who are still giving your USMLEs, right? So that is how he smartly used his time. 3 years, he finished his residency. Meanwhile, he gave his steps and applied for residency in the US. Okay, the next most important time comes कि अभी आपने decide कर लिया कि भाई मैं तो 2-3 एग्जाम दूंगी या दूंगा. अब मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैं करूंगी कैसे. ठीक है, how am I supposed to even do this and how am I going to get through this? So this is the importance of how you're going to plan a timeline. Okay. Is it even possible? Yes, it is possible. Can you go back to the previous slide? Yeah. So you know how it's written all over here and it's written 2020 mein main ye karunga or 1 mein ye 2 mein ye. It's very important for you to set goals. Yes. You need to keep a plan that I am applying for say 2025 math cycle and 2024 के सितंबर तक मेरे steps हो जाने चाहिए, मेरे पास USC होना चाहिए if you're doing for USMLE. But if you're someone who is giving NEET, then you should know that NEET happens every year in Jan or March. This time it's happening in August. I know the utter confusion that happens, but usually it's around that time, right? तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि मार्च तक मेरे पास टाइम है. मैं मार्च तक दूंगी स्टेप 1 नीट पीजी और मार्च के बाद 4 महीने में मैं दूंगी स्टेप 1. So that is what I did. I had a 6 months of preparation for my step 1. I was studying on and off in internship, but very, very less. So I gave 6 months for NEET PG preparation for USMLE Step 1 preparation. And then NEET PG got postponed. And I had 3 months. I was planning on not giving that NEET PG seriously, but NEET PG got postponed. So I took those 3.5 months that were available as the sheer, responsibility on me कि मुझे करना ही है. And those 3.5 months I put in 100% efforts and gave NEET PG a very, very good attempt. And that is how I planned my timeline. And I knew that giving NEET PG won't hamper my USMLE timeline, because anyway I'm going to give my step 2 after 4 to 5 months only, and either way I'll be ready for the next math cycle. So I planned this timeline and I gave the exam. So that is how you need to plan the cycle. Okay. Next, moving ahead. Okay. Also, is it possible to crack multiple exams at the same time? Yes, it is, because with the right strategies and with knowing what is being asked, there are, once you fall in love with giving and cracking exams, there's no going back. There is this addiction to writing exams, I would say, that all of you will fall into, because you know the examiner's mindset now. You'll be like, I know he's going to ask Epstein's anomaly. Anyone here knows what's Epstein's anomaly? Okay. Anyone? Okay, what do you give for, okay, second years, right? Like, what do you give for bipolar disorder, which is the drug of choice for bipolar disorder? Lithium? Yes, very nice. Lithium, right? So lithium is a drug of choice which is given for a lot of mood disorders, but especially in bipolar disorder. And one of the side effect is Epstein's anomaly, that is the atrialization of ventricles. And that you will see that question coming up in NEET PG. You will see that question coming up in PLAB and in USMLE. Why do they want you to know this? Because it's something that, every doctor should know. They want every doctor to know what subclavian substele syndrome is. They want every MBBS graduate to know how will you differentiate, tuberous sclerosis and which is that one more neurofibromatosis. They want you to know what kind of spectrum of disorders you will find in these diseases. More than that, no one is going to ask you. So with the right strategies, you can always crack multiple exams and however and whatever you want. Okay, moving on. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so coming to the timelines, coming to the strategies, first thing is that it's very important that you set a timeline. Okay, if you're a full-time student, like someone who has finished your MBBS and finished your internship also, आपका पूरा time है कि आप पढ़ रहे हो बस, मम्मी घर पे खाना दे रही है आपको, you are eating 3 times free food nicely, staying in your room with AC on, but and you have all the time to study, then you should not give more than 4 to 6 months for any exam. Okay, if you give more than 6 to 7 and 8 months, I have personally experienced it. I've seen my friends, I've seen my uh, juniors, seniors experiencing it. Your efficiency will come down, your scores will stop to drop. 6 months are more than sufficient for you to give any exam. But if you're a student, a part-time student, that means that you are going through your med school and also giving these exams side by side, not more than 10 to 12 months. Okay, so you start today and you aim like, okay, next June mein main exam de dunga, या मैं नेक्स्ट दिसंबर तक, ये कमिंग दिसंबर तक एग्जाम दे दूंगा या दे दूंगी, एंड दैट इज हाउ यू हैव टू सेट योर टाइमलाइन. ओके, and very catchy, the point which many people fail is the point of booking your USMLE step 1 exam. That exam, I swear, you will feel never ready for it. Okay, you will see your NBME scores go up, but you will never feel 100% ready कि यार मैं ready हूँ, कल मैं जाके exam दूंगी. Okay, because we Indians, right, like we Asian students are pressurized to study. We are always like, yaar exam aa rahi hai to hum padhenge, right? We are not people who get ready and go to the exam. nahi, exam aa rahi hai isliye hum log ready hote hain, right? So whenever these exams come up, I want you to book your exam somewhere after you have finished your first reading of your UWorld or something, and just book your exam. That booking of your exam only will give you the seriousness. You can always postpone it 3 months if there are because of some unforeseen circumstances, if you want to. So planning your timeline is very important. As I told you how I did it, like 6 months, 3 months, and then 3 months for PLAB and all of that. Okay, second thing is that using gold standard study resources. We'll be seeing it in the next slide, but keep this slide for now. Okay, so you don't have to, how many resources are there for NEET PG. Can someone enumerate जो आपको पता है? मारो, प्लेपलैडर, chat box में डालो, जो आप लोगों के पास apps होंगे ना. What are the resources that are using to get through med school? I'm sure all of you will have 1 or 2 subscriptions, right? One is using Maro, most widely used, Cerebellum. Oh, PW is what? PrepLadder. Okay, Cerebellum, because of Zainab Vora ma'am, it has become the talk of the town, and she's amazing. PrepLadder, okay. So you see, these are the 2-3 most famous ones, but DAMS भी है, Bhatia भी है. इतने resources है ना कि आप confuse हो जाओगे, समझ ही नहीं आता क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. So you are supposed to use few gold standard resources and only stick to those. Okay, don't change your study resources no matter what. I will be telling you how to do that in the next slide. And third most important key is that when you're in MBBS ना, आप लोग भूल जाते हो कि it's an MCQ exam that you're preparing now for. It's not a viva voce, it's not a theory exam कि आपको answers लिखने हैं. So you will be scared of solving MCQs. You will be so reluctant to solve MCQs because human mind and brain is not trained to know to get to know that you're being proved wrong. Okay, anytime you solve an MCQ, you'll be like, you know what, just chuck it. Like, let me just study first. Let me go through the entire thing. पूरा respiratory system खत्म करूँगा, उसके बाद ही मैं solve करूँगा. No, this is the wrong way. Start solving MCQs and treat MCQs and treat the question bank as your sole study tool. Don't treat it as a testing tool. This is everything I tell to any person I come across. The key point is to treat this key MCQs and your question bank as the study tool. Supposingly you get 2 questions out of 100 questions correct, in the test. Okay, who is seeing, who is coming up and saying, you know what, Javed Akhtar and Hridaya and Fariha Fatima, these people are, you know, dumb and they have just given 2 answers out of 100 correct. No one is coming to judge you. But at the end of those 100 questions, when you go through this and revise those questions, you will know the 99 concepts in that question bank, right? So that is why it's important to solve MCQs. You will know, okay, if it is, you know, a young lady coming up with hypertension, you will always think of, which was the disease? Oh my God, I forgot. I really need to revise first aid. Fibromuscular dysplasia, right? Fibromuscular dysplasia is seen in young women. And if you see hypertension, renal hypertension in an old patient, you will always think of atherosclerosis. So all this will come through solving a lot of questions. Okay, you will know that if it is a woman and they're asking about renal hypertension, you will answer fibromyalgia by closing your eyes next time the question is asked. Okay, you will know what a patient will present with, what kind of symptoms the patient will present with, and what is the age group, only by looking at the question. You will know how a temporal giant cell arteritis patient will present. He will have tenderness while combing. All of these questions, you know, will come to you while solving the MCQs only. So solving MCQ is the key. Don't delay it. Start right after you have gotten a hold of. मतलब कि अब थोड़ा पढ़ लिया है, अब start करूँगी solving MCQs. And next most important is to schedule your mocks. Okay. Okay. Can you name what are the mocks for NEET PG called? GTs, right? Like they are called GTs. What are mocks for USMLE called? What do you call them? What are the names? Anyone in the chat box? Yeah, obviously NBME, and then there are UWorld K mock tests that are available, and a lot of other embossed mocks available and all. But the gold standard one are NBMEs that every test taker should take, right? So you have to schedule these mocks, right? You have to finish all the new NBMEs, and you have to finish your UWSA, and you will have to finish your what do you call the GTs, the grant tests, before your NEET PG or before your step 1 exam. And you will have to schedule it such that, you know, आपने एक रीडिंग कर ली है, अब 3 महीने बाद में एक GT देके देखूंगा, उसमें क्या स्कोर आता है, that will be your baseline score, right? You will no matter who that person is, like Shahidil, if I'm pronouncing it right, Shahidil has scored suppose 200 out of 400. Okay, he scored 200 out of 400 marks in NEET PG in the GT. That will be his baseline score. After studying for 3 more months, he is only going to improve. So the worst performance of yours will be your baseline score. So to know your baseline score, you should give your first GT or NBME after your first reading is complete. Then you should keep on giving these mocks because you need to train your brain as to what type of questions and as to what type of how your brain is supposed to work, because NBME is for 8 hours, right? So you need to train your brain कि 8 घंटे भाई बैठे रहो, ठीक है? When I gave my first NBME, I remember I gave one block, I paused it, I went outside my library and I cried my eyes out. I cried and I prayed to God that please give me the ability to somehow sit through this exam. I can't for 8 hours. What is this, you know, nonsense? कौन बैठेगा 8 घंटे के लिए? But towards the end, after that 8 hours of mocks, I used to feel so good. Like we used to go have nice food and enjoy in the evening. So that happens when you train your brain. Okay. So first NBME, first GT will always be very, very bad and very, very, draining. But after that, it will always get better. So, and after towards the end, you know, every 15 days you have to give a test, no matter which exam it is. आपको जो भी exam देना है, PLAB के लिए, if there are people who have joined in for PLAB and everything, you have PLABable mocks available. So that has to be given in the last 10 days, in the last 15 days, every 15th day you have to give the exam. Next is the revision, right? Minimum of 3 revision cycles is needed for any exam. That is the key. How many of you know Aditya Gupta Singh? Singh is there or no? I don't know. Aditya Gupta sir. Yeah. Do you know him? Yes, AIMS, All India Rank 1, Delhi. Okay, pediatrics. So he is the, you know, he's like, you guys should know him. They are like, you know, Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan of medical fraternity. You people should know who's Zainab Vora. You people should know who's Aditya Gupta, because they are someone who you always look up to. Okay. So they are your idols. So he's the one who made this idea of the last 10 days. Okay. He says that if you revise everything that is important for an exam in the last 10 days, you will always improve your score by at least 10 to 15 points. And I assure you, आप लोगों को बिलीव नहीं होगा, but once you try it, no, you will all understand how important that revision is. So last 10 to 15 days, no matter which exam you're giving your step 1, you're giving your NEET PG, last 15 days is for one revision, one last revision. And the entire 6 months that you're preparing for, right, is that for that 15 days what you're going to do. So you're minimum doing 3 cycles. Supposingly you have 6 months, 3 months first reading, and 2 months for the next next one more reading, and the last month 20 or 10 15 more days for the very last reading that you go through, and then you go ahead and give in the exam. Okay. And the most important thing is keep your mental health in check, right? अभी लग रहा है सब all dreamy. You're here, you're with the like-minded people. It's everyone's talking about going to the US, everyone's talking about matching into good residency programs, getting into radiology, dermatology, medicine, all of that. But it's the most draining process one will go through. It's the most dark period you will go through, and I'm not making it sound making you scared of it, but once you go through it you will know. Because this time you are not 17 anymore, you are not kids, you will be having a lot of responsibility, your parents will be having many expectations from you, and you will not know what to do. So please keep your mental health in check. Do not overpressure yourself, do not pressurize yourself. Always ask for help, even seek professional help when needed. Go to a psychiatrist, go to a therapist whenever in need. Talk to your friends in the similar journey, and you need to have a positive attitude to get through this period of matching in residency and going through. We will talk about if you're someone that आपने decide कर लिया भाई कि मेरे को risk नहीं लेना है, या फिर मेरे situation के हिसाब से मुझे दोनों exams ही देनी है, ठीक है? तो आप how to go about it, how to plan. Now you've planned your timeline, but how to overlap your preparation now. Can you show? Okay, yeah, we'll keep the slide first. So the first thing is that you need to know that you need to keep your basics very, very strong. Okay, no matter which exam in this world you will give, if you have basics strong, and I'm not joking about it, you will be able to get through that exam. Okay, as I told you, I hated anatomy in first year. I was scared that I will flunk in anatomy, but studying for NEET USMLE step 1 made me fall in love with anatomy so much that today I am back, I don't know why, to read the cross-sectional anatomy all over again in radiology, and I swear I don't hate it. It's a nice feeling to know what's in your body, where is it, because cross-sectional anatomy is fun. So you need to keep your basics very strong. Second, how are you going to go about the portions? Okay, so see, सारे एग्जाम्स में वही पोर्शन पूछा जाता है जो आपने फर्स्ट से फोर्थ ईयर तक पढ़ा है. तो आपको करना ये है कि आपको फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर के सब्जेक्ट्स के टॉपिक्स सारे के सारे स्टेप 1 के बुक से खत्म करने. इफ यू आर समवन हु इज लुकिंग फॉर गिविंग बोथ द एग्जाम्स, ओके, even if you are not, even if you are someone who is only preparing for NEET PG, remember that these resources for step 1 will make you a very, very good physician. I can assure you that I was not a good doctor, not a very confident physician, or not a very good, I was not confident in the way I speak. Just now I barged in and I asked you, okay, what's Epstein's anomaly, what's Subclavian-Steele syndrome? I was not that confident. My confidence only came when I started preparing for USMLE step 1. And after you pass those exams, it will give you another level of confidence. So to make yourself a good physician, stick to step 1 books. It's a very good resource that we'll be talking about later. So आपको first year और second year के topics ना step 1 के book से खत्म करना है, जैसे मैं आपके साथ discuss करूंगी. Final and third year के topics, you do it from the NEET resource. Many of you have put in the chat box कि आपने prep ladder लिया है, आपने Marrow लिया है, जहां से भी आपने लिया है. When you're in med school, keep revising, keep doing topics from your resource, because I had finished Marrow final year topics in my final year itself. So I had watched all the videos of Deepak Marwa from Prep Ladder for Medicine, Rohan Khandelwal sir and Obswali ma'am from Marrow, pediatrics from Marrow. All those videos, I had finished it in my final year. And that is what my friends who gave multiple exams along with me also did it. Okay. And that way, in internship and later on, we could just watch the rapid revision videos and go ahead with the preparation. So the secret lies in working hard in your NEET UG. Okay. There are a lot of people here who would have joined here, but they are surrounded by people saying that what, अरे पास हो गए बड़ी बात है, एंड के 2 महीने में पढ़ेंगे. वो एंड के 2 महीने में पढ़ेंगे वाले दोस्त जो है ना आपके, वो नीट पीजी में सीट मारेंगे और आप लोग you will be still struggling. Okay, because those kind of people are really different. Maybe there are people here also who are those last time readers and you will just pass. I don't know how those people do it, but hats off to you. But I assure you, if you are someone who works hard from day one, you will always have your confidence high. Okay, and it's all about how you practice, how you do it. So आपको आपकी foundation medical school में ही ले करनी है. उसके बाद people who are in internship or later, you need to finish third year and final year के topics from your NEET resource, and first year second year के topics from USMLE step 1 resource. And always remember, there's this very good question bank, right, called as you सबको पता है UWorld क्या है. UWorld is a question bank for NEET step 1, right? And it's an amazing resource. You will not believe, when I gave this NEET PG 2023, right, उसमें एक question था which was on Gaucher's disease. So that question literally came from UWorld. ऐसे उठा के उन्होंने copy paste कर दिया था, उन्होंने नाम तक change नहीं किया था. So there are a lot of questions coming up in NEET PG from UWorld, and UWorld makes the concepts really, really strong. So I would recommend everyone, if you have time, if you're not someone who is giving only NEET PG and ये वाला NEET PG 10 दिन में आ रहा है, वैसे तो आपको पढ़ना चाहिए if there's someone. But if you're here, give this NEET PG with full force, and uske aage you can continue studying. And fifth is that, if you're someone who wants to give NEET PG, remember that 50% questions are repeated from the previous year questions of AIMS, previous year questions of NEET PG. So you need to do your previous year questions. People are having Marrow. Your question bank thing comes at the bottom of your app, right? When you click on it, it will open the NEET PYQs. 10 years previous year questions or 6 years previous year questions are given paper wise. So that is how you should be solving it subject wise, right? And making it strong. So that is what I did. I followed UWorld. After that, I did a lot of PYQs and for NEET PG. Okay. Next. Okay, someone's asking you to please record. I hope this is getting recorded. Okay. Okay, as I told you about using few and gold standard resources, don't be confused, okay? No matter which resource you stick to, everyone is going to teach you the same. But one very gold standard resource that I would recommend every student to study is, without a doubt, the USMLE Step 1 First Aid, okay? So this First Aid book is like a Bible for everyone. And 1 second. So this is my first aid, and I am still keeping it on my on my table, and it's all marked, and I still read it every week to go through the concepts in my residency. We had a case recently of the subclavian steal syndrome, and I had completely forgotten about what it is, and I had my notes written in it, so I went through it. So कोई भी एग्जाम प्रिपेयर करो, स्टेप 1 की फर्स्ट एड जरूर पढ़ो, ठीक है? Second is, there is a beautiful resource called Sketchy. You will never struggle with studying for these micro and pharmac if you stick to Sketchy. But there are people who are not visual learners, okay? Like one of my friend, how many of you have used Sketchy here? Anyone has used Sketchy? Yes, no, none, I think. For micro I used, okay. No. Okay, so it's a beautiful resource. There are free PDFs also available somewhere on the Telegram group. If not, I will be sharing it on my study blog sometime, so you can DM me and get it from me. So it's a beautiful, they will be having a sketch, and through that sketch, they will make you remember the particular bacteria. So a lot of people who are visual learners will benefit a lot from the Sketchy. I had a joke, but if people would have used it, you would have got it. Okay, no problem. Sometime other I will tell it. Okay, maybe in the future. Third is the Marrow or any prep ladder resource, whichever you're using. Stick to it. And जैसे मैंने बोला, फाइनल ईयर और थर्ड ईयर के टॉपिक्स वहां से कंप्लीट कर लो, सेकंड ईयर और फर्स्ट ईयर इधर से कंप्लीट कर लो, दोनों को मिला के PYQs कर लो, हो गया खत्म. So you will be good to go for any exam. Okay, next, moving on. Okay. So this is the question I get asked about a lot. That why did I choose to just take up a seat in India and do residency here in India rather than going to the US, okay, rather than sticking to the path of USMLE. First of all, the lot of the factors that I told you in the beginning, right? All of those factors played a role. Being it my own choice, being it my, the personal choices and the factors that a lot of things played in role, and the timeline that I had set for myself. And except that what I had thought is that I will be giving this NEET PG. And once I gave NEET PG, I did get a decent rank. That is when I decided that, you know what, meanwhile, I write my step 2 and I'm preparing for my step 2. I will be applying for counseling as well, side by side, to see if I get in any seat. Nahi milegi to bhi, it doesn't bother, because I am anyway going ahead and giving step 2 and preparing for the next math cycle, right? So that was my plan in my head. And initially I was of the idea that, मैं तो ऑब्स एंड गायनी लेके मम्मा पापा के यहाँ पे प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस सेटअप करूंगी एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. लेटर in that period, I did work under an obstetrician and gynecologist and realized that it is not the field for me, and how much I love this field of radiology. People say, miracles happen very less times in your life, but I will assure you, if you put in the hard work, God will send in a miracle for you. If you put in the hard work, if you keep your intentions right, things will fall into place, right? And out of nowhere, one day I was applying for all of the I applied across all over India, okay, all the states. And one day I was going through, and I almost moved to another city to start preparing for my step 2. And I opened my counseling results, and I had gotten radiology, which was my first choice, after which I had internal medicine in my list, because if you love internal medicine, somewhere or the other you will love radiology, because of how connected these are. And that is why I chose and went ahead with doing radiology in India. And also because of a pathway that is available, we'll be discussing in the next slides. Okay, so very few people are aware of this pathway, but there's a pathway called as alternative pathway of American Board of Radiology, right? So what you can do is, after your residency in India, always remember that they want a trained physician in the US, okay? I've spoken to a couple of ex program directors in US, because I did have connections. So they did tell me that they are looking for trained physicians. So if you are trained in your home country and you have residency in your home country, it's always a plus point. So I had that in mind. And so you can always use your residency in your home country as an experience. First thing is, and apply for residency again in the US in the same field or the other field, whatever you want first. Second is radiology and anesthesiology, if I'm not wrong. Yes, anesthesiology. And I'm not sure if it's ophthalmology or orthopedics, but one of these branches has this alternate pathway. What is this alternate pathway of American Board of Radiology? We'll see in the next slide. Okay, so alternate pathway of radiology says that you should have completed your MD or DNB in India. Not in India, in any other country, okay? You should have finished your MD and DNB, and DNB also of India is recognized for this pathway. Second, you should be ECFMG certified. You should have finished your step 1, step 2, and step 3. And after being ECFMG certified, you can apply via this alternative pathway directly for fellowship, okay? You will not have to repeat your residency. You will be getting into a fellowship program. Obviously, it is as hard as getting into residency, but getting one fellowship is completely doable. I've seen people do it. And if you get in continuous 2 to 3 fellowships or continue in the same institute, you can apply for board certification in the US, okay? So this is the alternative pathway that is available that very few people are aware of. So if you're someone who's interested in anesthesia and radiology, this is a good pathway for you as well. And last but not the least, this is my slide, which says that, you need to stop dreaming. And because you know this pathway looks very dreamy. It looks like हाँ आप लोग जाएंगे US में, सब कुछ settle होगा, everything will be nice, everything will be dreamy. But no, it's not. It's all filled with a lot of ups and downs. It will scar you. You will have scars which you will, you know, you will tell your juniors, you know what, I have got hurt here, don't do this. So you will tell your mistakes to others. You will learn a lot. You need to stay disciplined no matter what. Are there any night owls in this chat? Anyone who studies at night and struggles to wake up in the morning? Please tell yes. I can't be the only one. Yes, ma'am. Okay, good. हाँ, है ना इतने सारे नाइट आउल्स, इन सबको पता चलेगा कि सुबह पे उठना ही पड़ता है. ओके, you will you know fall into that cycle कि भाई सुबह सुबह एग्जाम होती है, so you have to wake up and stay disciplined. You will be changing all your habits. You will be becoming more disciplined. It will change you as a person. Third, you will face a lot of hurdles, but you will eventually come out of it as a very, very strong person. And you will always have a story to tell about, and you will hopefully be able to, you know, guide a lot of people. Always keep this in mind. No matter which place you reach, you should always, you know, given to the society. Don't just keep it to yourself, because that's how the society is in our med schools, in our Indian curriculum. There are very, very few people who love to mentor. And I'm really happy that these, you know, amazing organizations have come up and they are putting together like-minded people. How much you're struggling to find these people in your own college, right? That's the 90% population in India. हमारा हो गया, हमको अब दूसरों का नहीं देखना है. Don't keep that, you know, mindset anytime. Always have that mindset of, you know, I will excel and I will make sure people around me also get more. Okay, so with this, the last slide, you know, if you persevere and if you work hard, no matter what, you will always have a good ending. Okay, so remember that there's a saying in our by our prophet who says, which says that if it's meant for you, no, it will reach you even if it is beneath the mountains. But if it's not meant for you, it won't reach you even if it's between your lips. For me, it became like, you know, the USMLE journey right now seemed like something between my lips. But I always used to dream about radiology, and I used to think that, you know, I'm someone who can never get into radiology. But God did show a miracle and give me this field I wanted, even if it was beneath mountains. And yeah, so here is where I'm ending the session right now, but I will be taking in questions. We'll have a Q&A session, and I have this blog, Surviving Med School, which you can join. Please do follow me. And I do take up one-on-one mentorship sessions, which I have kept on hold right now because of my residency. Okay, any questions anyone wants to unmute and ask? You can go ahead and ask. I got a question that can we do fellowship after doing MD pediatrics in India? What are the options in UK and US for MD pediatrics? Okay, firstly, MD pediatrics in India, you can always give your MRCPCH, that is the membership of the Royal College for Pediatricians in the UK. Once you give this MRCPCH, you can work as a consultant in the UK. 3 steps are there for the MRCPCH, 1 and 2, but 1 has 2 parts. And for pediatrics in the US, you will have to repeat your residency. There's no alternative pathway like it's available for the for radiology. But your experience in the home country in your residency will always be counted as a plus point. So you can opt for it, and you can repeat your residency in the US if you want, and all of this. And you can always practice in some areas where now the new law is applicable. How to begin networking for radiology? You mean radiology in the US or in India? Just type in, I will see. Okay, next. Ma'am, I'm in second year. I'm following Pathoma and Sketchy. Can you suggest it for first year physiology and pharma? For pharma, there are people who have used it. For me, I felt it very confusing. But you can see, because I did a lot of few sketches for pharma from Sketchy. Okay, like what's that? The antidepressant drugs, all of these few topics. You know, if you're not able to via your textbooks, go back and do it from. You can always keep doing that. Ma'am, NEET PG we give for internship, but next exam we are giving in 4th year itself. Isn't it challenging? You know what, Harshini? I would say it's a plus point. You know why? Ask anyone who felt the most confident. जब सबसे ज्यादा नॉलेज थी, फाइनल ईयर के बाद सबसे ज्यादा नॉलेज होती है, सारे एग्जाम के लिए सारे सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ के रखे होते हैं ना, तो यू फील very confident in final year because you would have gone through medicine, surgery, obs and gynae, pediatrics just like this. Okay, so if you're someone who is planning on giving, because आप लोगों को next होगा, आप लोग next दोगे, तो what you need to do right now is, you know, if you're which year are you in? If you're in second year, say, okay, prepare for your USMLE step 1. Prepare for it very well, such that you are giving it in your third year end. If you're not able to give it also, start studying for next in your final year. Final year के end में आप next exam दे दोगे, उसके 2-3 महीने बाद you can plan and give your step 1. Preferably give it in your third year end, but if you're not able to, you can always give it in your internship. So plan your timeline accordingly. NEET PG ka preparation is similar to next, but next will become a little more challenging in terms of, but I would say that if you're someone who is preparing for USMLE, no, step 1, it will not be that challenging. You will always have an upper hand. A lot of questions, a lot of concepts will become clear. So keep this option open of giving your step 1. Oh, okay, a lot of questions. 1 second. Physiology and biochemistry. Biochemistry also, the, you know, glycogen storage disorders is beautiful and sketchy. Do that part alone. I did that part alone, but anything that works for you. Okay, in USA, how to start networking for radiology residency in USA? Well, I would say for any kind of residency in USA, you need to start networking through a lot of things. Through these organizations like I did go to this Humans of USMLE Summit, where someone I worked with in MSCI and one of my friend who matched into pediatrics in New York now came to give a talk as well with me, and it was wonderful, you know, connecting with him again, and how he told me about कि उनके program में कैसे radiology fellowship programs are available and everything. So I think networking just works when you are genuinely trying to, you know, be out there and connect and learn from a person. So go ahead and do that. Do not shy away from asking opportunities. Ask your seniors, ma'am, can I publish with you? Ma'am, can I, you know, volunteer? All of these things, and you can always network. Follow people on LinkedIn, Instagram, read their papers, get back to them, connect with them in conferences, all of that. Does the university exam marks during MBBS matter while matching the US? As much as I have heard, no. But they do go through, like, you know, your MSP, your medical school transcript, to see if you have any red flags, like if you've failed any subject or so, and they will ask you about it in your interview. I may not be the right person to speak about it, but then yes, this is what I'm aware of. Okay, ma'am, I need to ask something. I'm working on the same. Will it be helpful? Okay, so someone's asking about the exchange program. Yes, it will be helpful always to put it up on your CV as a meaningful experience. Okay, in your ERAS, there is always this option of giving meaningful experiences about how you worked in internship. About 2 to 3 meaningful experiences have to be given. And I know, I'm so sorry, and I know a senior who did put up an exchange program experience in that, and how about she learned about the cultural diversity and all of these struggling, and matlab wahan pe kaise medical system was different than Indian system and all of that in the meaningful experiences, and she did match. So it will you know, be added in that sector. You can always add it in your CV, and it will give you a, you know, a very well-rounded experience. You will become a better person when you go on exchange. You will see a bigger world, bigger picture of what medicine is. I went to Malaysia through AMSA, and I did know so many opportunities are available even in Asia after you have finished your you know, graduation or post graduation in India. you're paid really, really well if you move to these countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and they give you a lot of perks, like you get your residency nationality as well. So that option I just got to know when we went there. And there are a lot of colleges like JNMC in Belgaum, right? There's a college, JNMC in Belgaum. That college has a link with USM, University Sains Malaysia. uh, Manipal has a branch in Malaysia. So all this happens when you go on exchange. So do go ahead and apply for it. Don't shy away from it. Will USMLE Step 1 add to my CV if I plan to practice in India or Middle East without planning to do residency in US? Okay, so the question that I got, that Step 1, will it add to your CV? Well, I'm not aware of if only step 1 will add to your CV, but if you're ECFMG certified, that means आपने step 1 और step 2 दोनों करके certification ले लिया है. That will 100%, you don't have to give the DHA exam, Dubai Health Authority licensing exam, you don't have to give the MOH exam. With that certification alone, you will be able to apply for jobs in the Middle East. Okay, that is what I'm aware of. But I did hear it from people that to land up in corporate jobs in India, they do look up if you have done these extra exams, like if you have given your USMLEs, if you have given your MRCS exams. And yes, in the corporate sector, it does help. Yeah. Hello, ma'am. I'm interested in medicine, specifically oncology. Which pathway will expose me to to practice medicine freehand in full swing? Ma'am, can you put some light on USC way to fit that in timeline? Okay. First question, oncology, right? So in India, as far as I know, there are two pathways to oncology. One is 2 to 3 pathways. Okay, एक तो आप MD medicine करते हो, उसके बाद you will super specialize in oncology. They are medical oncologists. तो आप DM करते हो oncology में. Second is आप surgery करते हो, general MS general surgery, and then you super specialize in surgical oncology, and then you are a surgical oncologist or oncosurgeon. Third is radiation oncology. This is an amazing branch as well, where it's an upcoming branch, and it's a lot of perks are there in that branch as well. So it's a mixture of radiology plus oncology. It goes through, it deals with all these radiation cycles and all these PET scans and everything. PET, I'm not sure. That is nuclear medicine, a separate branch. But radiation oncology is upcoming branch as well. So you need to choose as to what sector in oncology you want to specialize in, and then go ahead with it, because oncology is not a separate branch as such in India or anywhere else. It's always a super specialty branch. तो पहले आप कोई भी ब्रांच में घुस जाओ, वहां से आप ऑन्को कर सकते हो हमेशा. Next, I got a question that way to do USCs in the timeline. Okay, so guys, see, USCs, there are people in, I think someone in the chat box told that they are in second year and they are doing USCs. So it completely depends on you. अगर आपके relatives हैं वहां पर और आपको लग रहा है कि यार मैं सेकंड ईयर में भी जाके आ सकती हूँ, थर्ड ईयर में भी जाके आ सकती हूँ, that's a good thing. You can invest and go ahead. But if you are someone that your parents need you to give an exam and first get assurance कि भाई आप कुछ करोगे आगे. Like for me, myself personally, I had this idea in my head. My parents did force me to go on the US clinical experience, but I thought before investing so much, I want to be assured, we rest assured that, part 1 ho gaya hai. So I gave my step 1 and I was meanwhile applying for the USCs. Meanwhile, all of this happened. Okay. So what you need is that USC करना है either step 1 से पहले, depending on which year are you in. If you're in second or third year, go ahead and give your step 1 pehle. Rest assured, in internship you can do your USCs. Okay, don't hurry and don't jump into it. Second thing I would say is that another option is there are people who finish all the parts, part 1 and part 2, and then go to US and do their USCs. USCs can be planned accordingly. Pehle aap step 1 get it out of your roadblock. It's a hurdle, cross it. But if you're someone who wants to go ahead and do USCs and see if US is my place, you can do that. Okay, someone is saying step 1 in the end of third year, step 2 after internship, then rotation. How is my strategy? How I would say step one आप दे दो, do rotations, do your electives while you are in internship. While you are an intern, you will have a lot of opportunities to apply for various electives, and you can give your step two either in the beginning of your internship or towards the end of your internship, okay, or just after you finish your internship. Try to do your electives before your internship ends because you have finished your step one in third year. अगर आप थर्ड ईयर में, आई एम सो सॉरी, अगर आपका थर्ड ईयर में स्टेप वन दे दो, उसके बाद आप थोड़ा सा स्टेप टू कम बैक एंड गिव योर स्टेप टू एंड अप्लाई फॉर द मैथ साइकिल. आई वुड से कीप सितंबर एज योर डेड पॉइंट एंड उससे वर्क योर वे बैक. ओके, September 1st is your deadline, suppose. Work your way back. 3 months before you should have all your scores ready. 2 months before that you should be going to the electives, like that, पीछे जाओ from the timeline. That will help you. 1 minute. Next question. ठीक है, I hope I have answered that elective thing. Any other question? Next guys. What are अरे यार बहुत, 1 minute रुको ना. I'm so sorry guys, 1 second. Oh no. What are your chances of fellowship in competitive field like cardiology? Is it better you do residency in India or residency in USA? It's a completely subjective pathway. Guys, I'm saying you, there are people who, अभी लगता है कि यार US वाले मजे में है, वहां पे पैसे कमा रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं. There are cardiologists in India, there are radiologists in India earning 16-20 lakh per annum, और वो भी कम है. इतना पैसा कमा रहे हैं इंडिया में भी. So I'm saying you, once you are in the right field, you can earn money by either ways, okay? So cardiology in both US and in India, it's again a super specialty branch. You will always have to do cardiology after you finish your MD medicine. So it depends on where you want to do your MD medicine. If you want to go to the Gulf or something like that, so MD medicine from US is highly paid there. But if you have done your India say MD medicine, DM India say, you are equally paid again. And DM in cardiology from India, or you can opt for MD medicine कर लो यहाँ से, उसके बाद MRCP दे लो. Go to the UK, work there as a consultant on very highly paid jobs, or you can move to US. There's this person on Instagram, I don't remember his name, but he was MD medicine in India. He went to the US, repeated his residency for 3 years. And I'm saying you guys, if you have survived residency in India, residency anywhere in the world is a cakewalk, okay? Because nothing is as tough as residency in India, not even US residency. That is why people, run there, because, वहाँ पे residency काम है, quite है, मतलब better than India. So वहाँ पे residency करके he did a fellowship in cardiology. In US, you will always have to do your MD again. You will have to repeat your fellowship. You will have to repeat your residency, except for in radiology and anesthesia. These two branches you can get directly fellowship in US. Ma'am, what is the meaning of USC? Okay, it is US clinical experience. वहाँ पे आप जाके काम करते हो as an elective, मतलब you choose the subject you want and you start working under that subject under a doctor. ठीक है? And someone I just read above that how to get radiology USC in the US. So there are I remember there is this university program of UAB, University of Alabama. So they do have radiology as an option to apply for, but very few seats. Then USMLE Sarthi has options of getting radiology electives in the US. All of these, what do you call? यार ये क्या बोलते हैं उनको, जो भी है एजेंसीज वगैरह, ये लोग आपको दे देंगे in the subject you want, okay? So you can go ahead and contact them. There are a lot of programs. Even I think Brooklyn USC is one of the programs which has something in radiology, because when I had inquired about it. Fellowship in cardiology in USA. Yeah, for that, Dr. Sanat, you will have to do MD there in the US and then do your fellowship there. मतलब 3 साल की residency plus 1 साल का fellowship हो जाएगा उधर. अगर आपने इंडिया में किया भी होगा तो आपको रेसिडेंसी रिपीट करनी पड़ेगी वहां पे, बट यूके के लिए वो नहीं है. अगर आप एमआरसीपी दे देते हो एग्जाम while you're doing your MD medicine in here in India, you can work as a consultant there and apply for specialty training directly in cardiology and or nephrology, anything. How can I build CV? ERAS application. One second, guys. How can I build CV or ERAS application, staying specially in research and research and publications in India, as USC is very financially burdening. Yes, Preeti, I completely understand आप क्या बोल रहे हो, but you need to understand that USC is invariably important. मतलब it is compulsory for you to apply to the US. Without USC, if you're applying ना, फिर वो मैच प्रोसेस में बहुत डिफिकल्टी हो जाती है. पीपल हार्डली मैच व्हेन यू डोंट हैव यूएस क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस. सो ऑलवेज हैव योर यूएस क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस, plan it accordingly and see which will work for you. But yeah, how to build your CV, very important. Do research work in your MBBS, like you can do the ICMR project that comes up. Second thing, you can join your seniors, join 2 to 3 people together, can come up with a topic and do that research work together in your college, okay, and try to publish those, or try to publish those case reports. Like if you're getting an interesting case, if in your ward or something, you can take those cases and you can present it in conferences. Like I had personally presented around 3 to 4 cases and won about 2 to 3 prizes, okay. So you should be able to present cases in these conferences, and it can be added under the research and publication wala part. So take cases, present it in conferences. Usmania, Hyderabad is one of the conferences that happens every year in Hyderabad. Then there are a lot of conferences that keep happening in JNMC, in Manipal, right? Because assuming students are from Karnataka, so you can go ahead and publish, present these cases there. Do some research work somehow, connect with people and somehow publish a paper or something. And ICMR ke liye apply karo. Then you can, that way you can build your CV. Volunteering work also, do these MSCI, AMS activities. It will keep you going in med school as well. कहाँ था भाई मैं, कहाँ थी भाई मैं. 1 second. How, ma'am, can I build CV? Okay, हो गया. Good evening, hello. Could you please share some tips on balancing university exam and postgraduate preparation? How did you manage both during your final year? Okay, guys, so first of all, there are people, like one of my juniors did give step 1 in final year and did manage to pass. But I personally wouldn't recommend कि आप step 1 दो final year में. Either you finish it in your 3rd year or you give it in your internship. Number 1, because final year forms the basis of your what kind of physician or what kind of doctor you're becoming. So I want you to give your complete attention to the subjects and read standard textbooks, read Harrison's, read examination textbooks, read all of these notes, and understand the concepts. But you need to simultaneously keep preparing for either step 2, step 1, or you need to keep preparing for NEET PG or next, right? People are you will be all appearing for next. So how you are going to balance that both? First thing, university exams के पास आपके पास सारे prior year question papers होंगे, right? Seniors will be passing on, or you have Singhi Atiraj. People who know Singhi Atiraj, say yes, ma'am, in the chat. Lifesaver. Yes, okay. So Karnataka, the Rajiv Gandhi University, you have this book called Singhi Atiraj, which has all the questions, okay? So before you start a chapter, mark all the questions in your textbook, okay? Whichever textbook you're reading. For example, if you're reading Manthappa for medicine, or you're reading SRB for surgery, you're marking all the questions that are being asked from the exam point of view. Then what you do, that particular topic, watch a video on Marrow, on say Prep Ladder, or watch Pathoma videos for those who are preparing for step 1, who want to give your step 1 an internship. Guys, watching Pathoma videos in your final year will make your medicine very strong, because that is what I did. I personally studied Pathoma and all the final year videos from Marrow. This is what I had done. So Pathoma videos you can watch any of the subject. आप वो topic का video देख लो. उसके बाद come back. आपने जो questions mark किए थे, those are the questions that will be asked in your exam. So focus on that and read according to exam wise. So that is how you have to balance it both. Every day you have to keep at least 1.5 hours for watching a video or solving few MCQs or doing something like that. Initially, it's watching videos and gaining understanding, because in final year, you're still in the process of understanding what the subject is, right? Yeah. I hope I've answered how you're supposed to do that. पहले मार्क कर लो, वो क्वेश्चंस वहां से पढ़ लो, कॉन्सेप्ट लेकिन वीडियोस से समझो, ठीक है? Huh. This another question: how to manage step 1 prep along with college exam? See, assuming that your exam is somewhere in December or January, okay, your final exams. So you should be ideally be studying for your university exams. Plus that, what you can do is that you can use your first aid for finishing medicine. What I did is I read Pathoma and I used to read those topics from first aid, including the pathology part, the pharmac part. I had completed from first aid simultaneously. So when my final exams got over, I was already done with pharmac, patho, and some of the parts of micro. So that's how you can go ahead. If you're following step 1 first aid book, no, you will be finishing sare medicine ke system sare ho jayenge. So keep doing that. Either do pathoma or do that. There's another video, no, koi to videos hai, BNB wale videos. जो भी आप देख रहे हो, उसको साइड बाय साइड पढ़ते रहो. मेडिसिन के साथ कंबाइन कर लो. RS मेडिसिन से कर रहे हो, RS फर्स्ट एड से भी करो. Okay, and obs and gynae should be mixed with reproductive system of first aid. So as you're going ahead with medicine, one topic, mix it with the system wise approach of first aid. Mix it and combine it and study. You will be able to do it. Make sure by the time you finish your final year, you would have finished substantial amount of portions from your for your step 1 as well. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, best agency. Pata nahi yaar, for me, I felt like USMLE Sarthi had a lot of affordable opportunities, but there are people who are going through Brooklyn, USC and everything. Personally, I had the experience of USMLE Sarthi. They are helpful people. You can go ahead and contact them. Okay. One second, guys. If I've missed your question, 1 minute. हाँ, ये हो गया best agency. How much prior to start cold emailing for various residency program for getting electives? Okay, yeah, this is a very good question, because I did. Okay, lifeline for universities. I think you're asking for list of universities, if I'm not wrong. तो अगर आप step 1 देना चाहते हो, तो for USC, these university programs have a very tough timeline. Suppose there were these university programs called as few very famous ones, that Harvard and UAB and everything. So they have a very tough process of getting it. Nowadays, seats all over the world of medical colleges has increased. So it's very tough to get in the right time. Okay, so first thing is that whenever the portal opens, आप एक साल पहले ही रिसर्च करके रखो कि कौन सी applications are opening at what time, when is the window open, and apply it on the first day itself. First thing is, जब भी window खुले of application for US clinical experience, apply it on the first day itself. Second, cold emailing, I would say that there are people who had done it since years. Like एक साल से आप 3-4 महीने पहले शुरू करोगे ना, तो आपको 6 महीने बाद शायद रिप्लाई आएगा, वो भी शायद आएगा. Not 100% sure, because 2 to 3 friends of mine, cold email, only one of them got replied, but that the person who got replied did end up getting an elective in John Hopkins. So it's worth giving cold emailing. So go ahead and keep doing that 1 year in ahead, or 6 months ahead at least. Okay, can you Can you explain about ICMR? So ICMR na, आपको पता ही होगा कि on the website, ICMR website is there. I'm going to take a separate session, and I hope if James wants it, I can conduct a session on what an ICMR preparation and how it should be done for all the med school students, because I did finish my ICMR session, like ICMR research project. So it's a whole big session कि मतलब कैसे करना and all. YouTube videos are available. You can go through it, but I think you cannot apply for it while you're in internship. So you should be doing before that, somewhere before that, and if you get selected, you will get a grant, and उसके हिसाब से फिर आप research carry out कर सकते हो. There are a lot of YouTube videos available because it's a very lengthy topic to be discussed upon. Medical oncologist, that's a good thing. Okay, so for medical oncology, finish your MD in India or MD in the US, and then go ahead and do your fellowship in medical oncology. Sorry, DM, your super specialization. According to your strategy, रुक जाओ, कहाँ गई यार मैं? Okay, PubMed Index journals is compulsory for publication. No, it's not at all. It is preferred, but it is not compulsory. You can always have publications in other journals. It's preferable that it's PubMed Index. It's preferable that it's peer reviewed. But if it is not, it's completely fine. Okay, having a publication itself is a good thing. So go ahead and do it. If it's not happening in a PubMed Index journal, दूसरे बहुत सारे इंडेक्स जर्नल्स हैं आराम से, मेडनो है वगैरह जो भी है, उसमें भी नहीं होता है. कोई चाइनीज जर्नल में हो रहा है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कर लो. कहीं करना है वहां कर लो. एटलीस्ट हैव अ पब्लिकेशन. Ma'am, what activities did you do in MSCI and AMSA? Okay. So MSCI and AMSA, we were the state. I think I was the college head in AMSA, and MSCI I was the state head for scope and all of these. So what we used to do is whatever the activities they were giving, we were conducting it. We used to come up with the ideas, and we were conducting activities like how Aslam and Kirtana are doing. So these are the kind of activities you need to keep doing, maybe webinars, maybe some ground activities and all of that. So that will be given accordingly. And we did a lot of pura third year final year usi mein guzra hai. So all of those activities were done. Should I focus on preparation of step 1 or next? Replacement? Yeah, I know. As a third year student. Okay, if you're a third year student, you know what? Start studying for step 1. Nicely start studying for step 1. When you're in your final year, right? When you're final year, you will know that your final year के subject जब आप पढ़ते रहोगे, आप next की preparation जब side by start करोगे ना, your step 1 preparation itself will give you 50% of the knowledge that you need. So if you're someone who is in third year right now and who wants to give both next and step 1, you should be studying for step 1 right now. Okay, in your final year, as soon as your final year starts or somewhere down the line, studying for final year के subjects के साथ साथ start preparation for your next, and you will be good to go. You will pass. Step 1 will prepare you for it. Close your eyes and start preparing for step 1. Don't think much now. Try to give it at the end of third year. नहीं होता है तो कोई बात नहीं, internship में दे देना starting में. But अभी step 1 के लिए पढ़ो. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, is ethical clearance compulsory to apply for any journal? I did a short project without clearance. No, I don't think so. Many journals ask for ethical clearance. It's if it's a randomized control trial or a very, what do you call, an invasive study also, you will need an ethical clearance. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, no. You will not need. But yeah, few journals do ask for it. Few journals don't. Look at the criteria. Is PLAB or UKMLE a good alternative when comparing to USMLE and NEET PG pathway? You know what? All three pathways are very, very different and very, separate from each other. So, see, PLAB is an exam which will give you a license, GMC license, to practice in the country, but it is not giving you residency. USMLE is giving you residency. आप PG join करोगे US जाके. आप PG join करोगे India में after you give NEET PG or next exam, right? But you cannot join PG in US, in the UK, just by giving PLAB. You have to go and do your FY2 position there. You have to work for a year, and meanwhile working for it, which you will be obviously paid for, and you will be applying for residency there. And if you are applying for residency except for internal medicine, you will have to give another exam called as MRSA. MSRA? MRSA is methicillin resistant, right? So sorry, MSRA. MSRA is a medical specialty exam that you have to go through in UK. But people do prefer PLAB when you want to, go ahead and just start working. So, and a lot of factors, why settlement, financial factors come into play. It's more cheaper than USMLE and everything. That way, PLAB is also a good option. You should keep it open. But I did hear a lot of people, you should have a good CV, because then you will be able to compete with the amount of people that are applying for PLAB, right? I have friends who have been applying for PLAB jobs after passing PLABs, and they still haven't got the job because of the competition. So you should have good CV. They look at all of these things. Okay. Next, is it possible to get diagnostic or interventional radiology elective as a non-VSLO? Okay, non-VSLO, I assume in non-VSLO, interventional, I have hardly heard, but diagnostic radiology electives, yes. Via the agencies also, a lot of agencies do provide it. Very few people ask for it. You can ask for it and research for it. You will get options open for it. And in the university programs, it is a very tough call, but you should go ahead and apply for it if you really want to. I personally haven't seen anyone getting into a university based radiology elective. I've seen people match into radiology research projects that are going on in the US, not match into, but get into by cold emailing and all of that. So yes, because there the non VSLO and VSLO thing doesn't come into picture. According to you, step 1 in third year, USC in the beginning of internship, step 2. हाँ देखो, अगर आपको नेक्स्ट देना है ना, तो आप अभी थर्ड ईयर में हो, आप स्टेप 1 के लिए पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर दो, ठीक है? स्टेप 1 आप दे के मैक्सिमम ट्राई करो थर्ड ईयर के एंड में देना है, नहीं होगा तो इंटर्नशिप के बिगनिंग में देना है, ठीक है? आफ्टर यू फिनिश स्टेप 1, डेडलाइन इज समवेयर इन द बिगनिंग ऑफ इंटर्नशिप, okay? Then you will do your electives in internship, and at the end you will be doing your step 2. If you are someone who cannot do that, you're in final year and all, give your final year exam aram se. Don't worry, keep studying first aid side by side. After your final year is complete, you can sit and prepare for step 1 for 4 to 5 months. Give it an internship. Nahi hoga to uske baad, I personally gave it after my internship got over, 6 months after my internship got over. So there is no right or wrong time. It's all up to you. It's all up to your situation as to how you want to go ahead. तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो, but plan a timeline. Is it possible to get diagnostic? ये हो गया, PLAB हो गया, ethical clearance हो गया. Ma'am, first aid content change it with addition. I have 2020 वाले book. ये देखो मेरे पास कौन सा book पड़ा है पता है? 2021 वाला. Okay, so doesn't matter which edition you are in, but the new edition will have a few changes here and there that you can add in this. To be honest, I was not a fan of buying a new book. I wanted to keep the book I was studying till the end. So it's 2024, it's almost 4 years. It works. I had bought it somewhere in second year or third year, I don't remember. Okay, ma'am, is it compulsory that you have done research in different areas? See, it's completely fine if you have research in different areas, doesn't matter. Doing research in medical school itself is a big thing. Okay, आपने MBBS obs and gynae में कुछ research work कर लिया है on the preeclampsia and the uterine artery Doppler or something, but you are interested in medicine, completely fine. You can always go ahead and put this in your CV. So don't think that research work only in that subject has to be done. No, any research work will do. Any paper presentation, any poster presentation will do. They know of how a 23 or 24-year-old person goes through what kind of confusion in his brain कि भाई कौन सा फील्ड लेना है, तो it's completely fine. Public health, that is very good. Public health research is a very, very good thing. That is, it is very highly appreciated in the US. In the UK, everywhere except India. Community medicine को यहाँ पे पीछे मतलब dry branch बोला जाता है, but it's a very very green branch outside in the outside world. Okay, yeah, residency in internal medicine you can. Okay, are there any more questions? I assume I took a lot of your time. सारे questions हो गए लगता है. Thank you so much for the session. Yes, Preeti. You can DM me on my Instagram page. Though I have stopped personal mentorship, one-on-one mentorship sessions for now because residency is really, really tough. But I will be starting these mentorship sessions soon. It will be on a very, very affordable price, like 500 rupees, 400 rupees, where a proper 2 to 3 hours session will be taken between me and you, and or anyone who is interested. And I was even planning on taking these group mentorship sessions, which I am trying to apply. But do DM me and follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting everything there. I'm not an influencer, but a mini like trying to do bits and pieces. Like, okay, or क्या questions are? Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Welcome. Thank you so much, Preeti. Thank you. It's difficult for Indian students to come up with original research. Yes, Vedant, I completely get it. That's why I am telling you all to go ahead and apply for ICMR. ICMR is one such window which will give you an opportunity to go ahead and do original research. जब आपको ICMR का अप्रूवल मिल जाता है ना, तो कॉलेज वाले भी बोलते हैं यार सर्टिफिकेट आएगा कॉलेज को, इस बंदे को हेल्प करके देते हैं, ठीक है. तो ट्राई डूइंग दैट. Or else what you can do is, I found this option better, is that you can ask your postgraduate students, anyone who's interested, like if you have a PG like me in your college, you can be like, ma'am, you know what, in your thesis I will help you in collecting cases. जब आपका thesis हो जाएगा मैं publish कर दूंगा, I'll become an author with you. So if your third year seniors are close with you, you can do that. Second thing is that take a small topic, take very small number of sample size, like 30 patients उतना ही, ठीक है. उनके ऊपर ही जो भी आप रिसर्च कर रहे हो, मतलब उसके ऊपर ही, that you can publish. Second, for original research work, another very good idea is writing review articles, okay, or writing meta analysis. So go and get into that and do that. But obviously it's not considered as an original research, but I did find it an easy way to do research in your MBBS. अभी किसी के पास शक्ति है तो मैं रिसर्च के बारे में 5 मिनट बोलूंगी, वरना it's okay, we'll call it a day and we'll have a session some other day, hopefully. Okay, very nice question, Shruti. What are the points you should consider while choosing post graduation, and how will I know that this is the specialty I want to do? Guys, how many of you, okay, put in the chat box, how many of you want to become surgeons? Matlab, anything related to surgery, orthopedics, obs and gynae, surgery, general surgery. Anyone in the chat box? Yes. Yes, me. Okay, 3 people. How many of you want something like internal medicine, pediatrics, radiology, इनमें से? Pediatrics. Okay, very nice. Next. Okay. So a reality, मैम घर वाले सर्जरी बोलते हैं, बट मेरा इंटरेस्ट रेडियो या इंटरनल मेडिसिन है. आई एम सेइंग यू फॉलो योर हार्ट एंड डू व्हाट यू फील लाइक. पैसे कहीं भी कमाओगे आप, ठीक है. सो डोंट fall into this trap and do what your parents want you to do. I'm not saying that go against your parents. Make them understand. Tell them why you like internal medicine the best, okay? And they will be happy. Doctor बन गए ना, काफी है, उसके आगे आप कुछ भी कर लो. Because I have seen my own sibling suffer because she did not get the specialty of her choice, right? So don't do that. you will have to get into the specialty of your choice and you will be the best in that choice. ठीक है? अब coming to how will you know that ये भाई ये field मेरे लिए है? Guys, you will not believe, I didn't know until like the last 2 rounds of counseling. Till the last 2 rounds of counseling, I was even applying for fields like general surgery, obs and gynae. I was like, okay, I can take up obs and gynae. While I can't stand blood, I can't stand that, surgical. I don't have that cognitive ability of, suturing and all. There are people who are very good in your cognitive abilities. They know that मुझे हाथों से कुछ करना है. Second, there are people who are very good with like the mental game, like okay, this is happening, so okay, probably this is the diagnosis, I will treat it with this. If there is a DKA patient, you will give IV fluids, you will give insulin, you will give this and this, it will be treated. So these are the kind of people who will be like more in like medicine करना है. तो आपको कभी पता चलेगा जब आप फाइनल ईयर में आओगे. You will understand what kind of person you are in your final year. Slightly 20% only you will get to know. Rest of the 80-60% you will get to know you're in internship when you're working, right? Which is that department that you are feeling happy when going in internship. Okay, and remember that आप internship में जो देखते हो वो सिर्फ 20% है. Okay, it's more than that. Look at the PGs who are in that department. That will tell you what the actual work is, not your notes, not your OT notes and all. That is not the real work. The PGs, what they are doing there. Okay, and obviously please take into consideration how will your life turn out after that field. For example, very many people talk about the work life balance. What exactly is this work life balance, right? Radiologists in India, you get every Sunday holiday, you get every government holiday as a holiday, because it is considered as a the only duty PGs are supposed to go. Whereas the surgery PGs or the surgical field specialty people will have to go every day, even if it's a Sunday, for the rounds of the patients. We do not admit patients, so we don't have to go and look after them, right? And after kind of free, whereas they have a lot of night duties. I do have night duties. Life is hard for radiology as well, but dermatology is one of the field which is very laid back and bilkul no emergencies and all that. So first thing, consider work life balance. Second, consider which which subject you are interested in. Like for suppose if you are interested in surgery but nahi karna bhai, mujhe nahi dene hai 6 घंटे orthopedic surgery के लिए, तो choose something lighter, choose opthal, choose ENT, something like that. Okay. Third, you should consider also after your internship. In your internship, my cousin brother, who is a radiologist as well, had told me that what, in internship, this is the time to exclude the subjects you're not going to do. For example, I had excluded general surgery out of my list. I was like, I'm never going to take up general surgery in my life. That is not something I can do. So in your internship, keep excluding. Be like, ye to nahi ho payega bhai, khaat maar do. Emergency medicine was something, again, I crossed it out because I didn't want to take up. Then you can, keep that gray area wale options. Pediatrics ho gaya, obs ho gaya. Ab isme confusion hai, phir karke dekh lungi. All of that, okay? So do a lot of ups and downs. Consider the factor of your life after post-graduation. Please don't forget to do that. And also, based on your ranking and everything, how you're getting seats. Minimum how many publications? See, you've got 2 ICMR projects already. That's very good. There are people with 1 publication also who have matched. So anything is good, very good. 2 is also good. Revision is something we always try hard and avoid, especially in step 1 preparation. Very good. The quantity is very, very vast. Can you share some practical tips for revision and to memorize effectively? Oh my God. So this is something, maybe I have written it somewhere here. Okay, no. I had those flashcards made up. Just a second. Okay, you know what happens while you're preparing for next or you're preparing for USMLE step 1? You will always avoid revising. Okay? The revision has to not be avoided. It has to be started supposingly when you finish 90% of the portion, start with your revisions. Okay, don't delay it. I'll finish 100 and do it. And after that, keep going back and seeing. You know, your day should be like 70% revision and 30% new topics, like that. Okay, and in revisions, while you're reading for the first time, right, I want you to make something like this. These are the, what do you call, flashcards that we had made. Okay, all the diseases, and supposedly these are the metabolic acidosis wale diseases, which are the diseases where you can see metabolic acidosis. So these are all the mud piles mnemonic that I've written. And yeah, these are all my friends, which I kind of stole it from him. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So this is how you're supposed to make your flashcards and keep it. And every day, 1 hour at least, you have to give for revision. Revise anything from the previous topics you have studied, and keep doing this effectively every day. And towards the end, you should improve your, revisions. And more about it, I have shared on my page as well, and it's a huge topic. So revision every day, 1 घंटा तो rapid revision करना ही है. Flashcards बना लो. Third, do your MCQs or active recall करो. All of these things.
Okay, guys. I think this will be our last question. So because of the time constraint, we'll
Yes.
be ending the session soon.
Okay. Oh my
So
God. Okay, yeah. 9, 10. Okay, 2 hours. Thank God. I was like,
guys, so all your questions answered? Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering all of their questions. And we now have Aslam sir, who will be giving the vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. I Aslam, the President James Karnataka. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Aisha ma'am, our speaker for the day, for enlightening all of us on a major confusion in our journey or in our MBBS journey, and throwing us light on different pathways and to go ahead and to how to go ahead and all such. It was very meaningful. It was very interactive and lively session, ma'am. This session was very informative and very valuable to all of our journey. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the James National team for all the leadership, guidance, and for giving us this platform. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for, once again, thank you for all your patience, for all the valuable knowledge that you have given us. I thank all my executive members who put in all the efforts to pull out this event. To name few, Naman, the SD of Mishog, Mahima, Kirtna, who hosted the event. I thank all the audience for making this a grand success in spite of few reschedules that we had. I thank one and all. I thank you, ma'am. I guess we can end the session soon with this. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, thank you for joining us and enlightening us with this. It was very informative and very lively. In fact, the question answer is still prolonging. We hope we can have one more session soon with you, ma'am.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Aslam. Thank you, Naman, and thank you, Kirtana. These are the names I know of you guys. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. Okay, keep doing this. Keep inspiring others and keep connecting. And enjoy your journey of your med school. Okay,
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
do connect me on Instagram and we will take this ahead from there. Okay, all the people there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.